Oh, I think I got the notification that we're live. So, welcome everybody. If you're watching, this is the second semi-final match of the European Team Championships, and it will be between Denmark and Switzerland, with Switzerland being A and Denmark being B, which means we'll start off with two stackers from Switzerland doing their 3-3-3. First off with Serena. So, Serena, you can have two warm-ups if you'd like. On first attempt. It's clean, 3.073. And second attempt. Also clean, 6.871. And third attempt when you're ready. It's clean, 2.223. And then we move to the second stacker from Switzerland, which is Simea. So you can have two warm-ups. And first attempt when you're ready. 2.161. And second attempt. It's also clean, 3.140. And third attempt. Was still clean with a time of 3.809. And now we move to Denmark, starting with William. You can have two warm-ups. And show your timer. First attempt. It's clean. That was a 2.815. And second attempt. Yep, when you're ready. Still clean. And it was a 5.650. And third attempt. When you're ready. That was clean. That was a 1.804. Okay, and then we move to Albert. You can have two warm-ups. And first attempt. Was a scratch, unfortunately. And second attempt. It's clean, 2.859. And third attempt. Still clean with 3.428. And then we move to Larke. You can have two warm-ups. And then, yeah, if you just show your timer, and you can take your first attempt when you're ready. There's a scratch, unfortunately. And show me the zeros. And second try. That was clean. That was a 2.723. And then reset the timer. And third try. Oh, that was a scratch. That's a
That's
4.223. And then we go to Alexander. You can have two warm-ups. And first attempt. Clean, 1.841. And second attempt. Point 483. And third attempt. Okay, that'll be a scratch. And then we go back to Team Switzerland for Sarah. You can have 2 warm-ups. You just show that your timer's on 0. Perfect. And first attempt. Very nice, that was clean. That was a 2.423. And if you reset the timer. Sorry. Yep, and second attempt. That was still clean. Was 3.379. And then if you just reset it, you can take your third attempt. That was clean. Was 2.372. Very nice. And then we move to Saskia. And you can take 2 warm-ups. And first attempt when you're ready. It's clean, 3.609. And second attempt. Three. Oops. And third attempt. Just about clean, 2.493. Well done. And then we move to the doubles, which will start with the first Danish pair, which is Albert and Alexander. So Albert, you can take 2 warm-ups. And first attempt. With an 8.743. And then Alexander, you can have 2 warm-ups. On first attempt. Clean, 6.056. And then back to Albert for the second attempt. Clean, 7.961. And Alexander. Clean, 6.094. And then back to Albert for your third try. Eight point four two three. And then Alexander, your third try. It's clean, 5.505. Crazy time. That gave you an average of 6.964. And then we move to the first Swiss pair, which will be Sarina and Sumaya. So Sarina, we'll just wait for Sumaya to get on screen. And yep, Sarina, you can do your 2 warm-ups. Okay, and first attempt when you're ready. Clean, 7.751. And Samaya, you can have 2 warm-ups. And first attempt. 6.923. And then back to Sarina for your second attempt. Okay, 6.910. And Samaya. Nice one, 6.881. And then back to Sarina for your third attempt. It's an 8.823. And Samaya. $9.062. Okay, and then we go to our second Swiss pair, which is Silas and Saskia. So Silas, you can do 2 warm-ups. Okay, and first attempt, if you just show me the timer. Thank you. And you can take your first attempt. That's clean. It was 9.527. And then Saskia, you can take your 2 warm-ups. On first attempt. Clean. 13.007. And back to Silas, you can take your second attempt, just show the timer. Yeah, and when you're ready. That's clean. It was a 8.829. And then Saskia. 3.491. And then back to Silas, you can take your third attempt. Thank you. Nice one. That was a 8.601. And Saskia, your third try. A 9.268. And then we go back to the Danes with Malu and William for their doubles. So, Malu, you can take 2 warm-ups. And just show your timers on 0. Perfect. And first try. Clean. Was 10.466. And William, you can have 2 warm-ups. And first attempt when you're ready. Yep. Thanks for showing the timer. Great. Clean. That was a 6.084. And then back to Malu, you can take your second attempt. I'm not sure. Timo, what do you think? Is that clean? Because the cup went on the floor and wasn't set back down at the side of the one-time one.
I think that it doesn't matter. I would count it clean
Okay,
because
sure.
the time
Yeah,
isn't better than the last one.
that's fine. Okay, can I see the timer then, please? Great, thank you. And William, you can just show your timer and do your second attempt. Yep, that was clean. That was a 5.909. And then back to Malu, and you can take your third attempt. Thank you. Uh, 10.189. And William, just show your timer. Thank you. Third attempt. It was a 8.403. Okay, so after the 3-3-3 in doubles, we have an exact tie in points with Denmark at 23 and Switzerland also at 23. And now we'll move to 3-6-3, starting with Denmark. So William, you're up first. You can take 2 warm-ups. Yep, show the timer, and then first attempt. Clean. That was a 4.013. And reset, and you can take your second attempt. It's still clean. That was a 9.450. And reset, and you can take your third attempt. That was a scratch, unfortunately. And second up for Denmark, we'll move to Albert. So you can take 2 warm-ups. And first attempt when you're ready. 8.621. And second attempt. 2.921. And third attempt. 2.776. And then we go to the Swiss team, starting with Serena. You can have 2 warm-ups. And first attempt. It's clean, 2.668. And second attempt. Was also clean, 2.393. And third attempt. It's a scratch, unfortunately. And Simea is second for Switzerland. You can have 2 warm-ups. And first attempt. It's clean, 2.494. And second attempt. Still clean, 5.004. And third attempt. Scratch that one. And then Sarah up next. You can have 2 warm-ups. And show your timer. Yep, and first attempt. It's clean. Was a 4.388. And reset. All right. And second attempt. It's clean. That was a 2.803. And if you reset, and third attempt. That was a 5.006. Okay, and then lastly for Switzerland, we've got Saskia. You can have 2 warm-ups. And first attempt. 4.645. And second attempt. It was a scratch, unfortunately. And third attempt. That was also a scratch, unfortunately. And then we move to Team Denmark, starting with Malu. Continuing with Malu. Would you like 2 warm-ups? Yeah, you can take your warm-ups and then show the timer. Perfect, thank you. And first attempt. That's clean. 2.947. And reset, second attempt. It's also clean. 4.508. And third attempt. Clean. A 6.005. And lastly, for 363, we've got Alexander. You can have 2 warm-ups. And first attempt. 2.240. And second attempt.
Hello? Vi får sluta lite. Laura?
I don't see or hear Laura,
Nope, same.
but the video is still there, but with the black screen.
Yeah.
So we just move on with the third attempt. I will
Yeah.
do the times.
Okay. Third attempt then?
Third attempt, yeah. Okay, so it's a scratch.
Sorry, my computer seemed to disconnect there. Did you take over that judging, Timo?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I don't know what happened there. I'm very sorry about that.
Okay, so we now have the relay, and Denmark, you wanted to start the timed relay, right?
Yeah.
Which order do you have for relay?
Let me just check. I think it's William, Albert, Lærke, and me. Yeah. And then Lærke. Yeah.
Okay, so William, if you want to show your timer, and you can take your first attempt when you're ready. Yep, so you can start when you're ready. It's clean. A 2.507 or 17. Yep. And Albert. It's clean. 2.919. And Larka. It's clean. A 7.517. And Alexander. Six 6.628. Okay, and then back to William. You can show your timer and take your second attempt. Clean. A 5.186. And Albert. Was 10.783. And Larka was clean. 3.427. And Alexander. 2.552.
Alright, vi gør det helt sikkert nu. Det skal ikke være nogen fejl. Ja. Så jeg hellere gøre det lidt langsommere. Bare sådan, så vi har en tid. Vi har ikke noget lige nu.
Okay, we go for William. Just show the timer. Yep, and when you're ready. It's clean. That was 2.632. And Albert. 3.006. That was clean. And Larka. It's also clean. 3.542. And Alexander. 2.676. Okay, so that gives you a time of 11.856. And then we'll go to Switzerland for their relay. Can I just double check the order? I'm guessing Simea is also in the relay, but where?
Yes, Simea is last.
Okay, perfect. So Saskia, you can do your first attempt when you're ready. It's clean, 2.777, chocolate, very nice. Marlon, also clean, 3.545. And Serena. Oh, that was a scratch, unfortunately. Simea, would you still like to do your attempt as a warm-up? No? Okay, so then it's back to Saskia for your second attempt. 2.810. And Marlon, your second attempt. 4.158. And Serena. 2.730. And Simea. 2.625. And then we go for the third attempt for the relay, starting with Saskia. That was a 5.180. And then Marlon. 3.060. Serena. 2.638. And Simea. 2.463. Okay, so that brings the score after relay to 47 to Denmark, 37 to Switzerland. Still very close. And we'll start with Switzerland for cycle, beginning with Silas. So you can have two warm-ups. Okay, and show your timer. And first attempt. Clean. Is a 8.766. And just reset. Second attempt when you're ready. Was a scratch and third attempt. Was clean. 9.521. And then we go to Serena. You can have two warm-ups. And first attempt. Clean, 7.850. And second attempt. So 7.75. Sorry. 7.758. This is not typing. And third attempt. $7.036. Okay, and then we move to Denmark. Denmark, can I just check that Albert was supposed to be going second? I accidentally cleared a cell in the sheet.
What? Say that again. Sorry.
Second for cycle, is that Albert? I accidentally cleared the
Oh yeah,
cell in the sheet.
that's Albert.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Okay, William, you can take 2 warm-ups. Show the timer. And first attempt. Clean. 6.050. And second attempt. Clean. 8.066. And just reset the timer. And third attempt. A scratch. And then we go to Albert. You can have 2 warm-ups. And first attempt. It's clean, 7.643. And second attempt. $7.635. And third attempt. Clean, 12.305. And then we move to Team Switzerland, right? Oh no, sorry. We're going through all of Denmark. Apologies. Malu, you can take 2 warm-ups. And first attempt, thank you. Was clean, a 15.046 and reset. Second attempt. Clean. 12.707. Reset. And third try. Also clean. That was a 8.549. Very nice. And then we move to Alexander. And you can take 2 warm-ups. And first attempt. That was a scratch, unfortunately. And second attempt. It's clean, 6.443. And third attempt. 5.807. Very nice. And then we go to Marlon. You can take 2 warm-ups. Okay, and first attempt. It was a scratch, unfortunately. And second attempt. Okay, 8.944. And third attempt. It's 7.857. And lastly, for Switzerland, we have Saskia. You can have 2 warm-ups. And first attempt. Clean, 8.457. And second attempt. Two, one. And third attempt. So on 7.238. Okay, and after cycle, the score is 64 to Denmark and 48 to Switzerland, meaning that no matter the result of the head-to-head relay, Denmark has won this match, which means we'll ask, would the stackers from both teams like to continue or not?
For me, we don't have to. What about the rest of the Swiss team? Okay.
What about Denmark? Would you like to continue?
We're fine. We're good. We can continue if you want.
You want to continue,
It's up
or
to you. It's up to Switzerland.
okay? So if Switzerland doesn't want to, then we'll end the match there. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. So very well done to both teams. That was actually a very exciting match to judge. After 3-3-3, it was tied. After doubles, it was tied. After 3-6-3, it was tied. So thank you for an exciting match.